let us get into a new chapter, which is nothing but your cost accounting system. Okay, cost accounting system. Now, what is the meaning of cost? We know cost is nothing but in terms of buyer, the cost is something else. In the terms of seller, the cost is something else. In the terms of service receiver, the cost is something else. In the terms of service provider, the cost is something else. That we have discussed. In the first chapter, we have discussed the definition of cost. See, basically, what is the cost? Any sort of expenses incurred to acquire a goods, any sort of expenses incurred to receive a service is said to be called as cost in the terms of buyer, in the terms of service receiver. In the case of manufacturer, in the case of service provider, what is the meaning of cost? Cost incurred to produce the goods or cost incurred to render the service is something called as a cost. And we know very well that we are having three different elements of cost: material, labor, expenses. And material, we know that we are having direct material, indirect material. Labor, we know we are having direct labor, indirect labor. And expenses, we know we are having direct expenses, indirect expenses. That entire part of your indirect expenses is said to be called as your overheads. And there we know that we can classify your overheads under different bases. I can classify my overheads based on functions such as factory overheads, administration overheads, research and development overheads, selling and distribution overheads. So that's what. See, till now we had known the entire basics of your costing. We know how do we prepare our cost sheet. Now, today what we are trying to understand, we are trying to pass the accounting impact. Till now, we had seen only the one part of your costing. Today we are trying to see the other part of the costing where you are trying to pass some sort of journal entries. Okay, that's what is something called as the cost accounting system. Now, when we get into something called as accounting system, I will come. So I am trying to divide this chapter name into three different parts. Cost is one thing, accounting is one thing, system is one thing. Okay, so now we know the meaning of cost, we know the meaning of cost sheet, and how do we prepare the cost sheet, everything we know. Now let us, when we speak about something called as accounting, we need to speak something called as our types of accounts. Types of accounts. We know basically three different types of accounts are there. What are those? What are those? The first type is called as your personal account, right? Now the second type I can call, the second type is something called as your real account. Okay, and the last one is something called as your nominal. Okay, these are the different three types of accounts we are having: personal, real, nominal. So these are the three different types of accounts we have. Now here in this chapter, what we are focusing on to, we are focusing on the element of cost. What is the meaning of cost? Either in terms of buyer or in the terms of seller, cost means what? Cost means expenses. Cost always means expenses. So when we use the word expense, which type of account is that? Is that expenses coming as a part of personal? Is the expenses coming as a part of real, or is the expenses coming part of nominal? Expenses, incomes. See, what is your nominal? Any sort of expenses or losses, any sort of incomes or gains is said to be called as your nominal. So here, whenever we speak about something called as expense, that expense is always something called as your nominal. So in this chapter, we are purely focusing on something called as your nominal, only nominal. So the other two things are what? Your personal and real. So the other two things are what? Personal account as well as your real account. So under this chapter, we are not focusing on your personal and real account. We are purely focusing on something called as your nominal. See, ultimately, and one more important thing you need to understand. your cost accounting system, as your financial accounting system operates on something called as your double entry, even your cost accounting system also operates on the same principle called as double entry. Double entry. So we are operating on your double entry system. So we are purely operating on something called as your double entry system, right? See, till now I am not got into the chapter. We are just into the basics, background. Whatever we know till now we have discussed. We know the meaning of cost. We have discussed the meaning of cost. In nutshell, one word, cost is nothing but an expense. Whether you are a buyer, whether you are a manufacturer, service receiver or provider, it's an expense. It's an expense. Expense for buying, expense for providing. So whatever it is, receiving or providing or whatever it is, expenses. And accounts, three types of account. Personal accounts are there, real accounts are there, nominal accounts are there. Expenses comes a part of your nominal. So in this chapter, we are purely focusing on something called as your nominal. That's what is one thing we have discussed. And as you maintain your financial accounts on your double entry system, your cost accounts are also maintained on the double entry system. Now you may be getting a doubt. As I had said, we are focusing on nominal. We are not focusing on real. We are not focusing on personal. Then how that can be something called as your double entry? So that is the reason we are creating some sort of control accounts for balancing your double entry. See, suppose what I mean to say here, I am telling here your focus is purely on your nominal. You are leaving your personal, you are leaving the real account. But, and I am telling that I need to prepare my books of accounts on double entry. If I don't record the real account transactions, if I don't record the personal account transaction, then how I can follow the double entry? I can't follow. But under cost accounts, especially, okay, under cost accounting system, whenever you are passing in entries, we are not focusing on personal, we are not focusing on real. We are not focusing on the personal as well as we are not focusing on the real account. But double entry has to be maintained. So I need to create some sort of control account. That is the reason we need to create some sort of control ledgers. We need to create some sort of control ledgers to balance. Otherwise, if I record only nominal, if I don't record the personal, if I don't record the real, how I can say I am maintaining a double accounting system? A simple case. Say suppose you are doing a purchase. So when you do a purchase, what is the entry which you need to pass, whether it is a cash or credit? Let us consider you are doing a cash purchase. You are doing a cash purchase. So when you do a cash purchase, what entry I will pass? Purchase account I will debit, to cash account I will credit. What is cash? Cash is a real. You are purchasing a raw material, which is one of your element of cost. I need to record the entry. So purchase account if I debit, ultimately I am telling that I won't consider real, I won't consider the personal. Then only one impact is there, double entry, and I am telling that cost accounting system has to be done on double accounting system. So means what? How I can do? Well, so what is the meaning of double accounting system? Every debit should have a corresponding credit. Debit is there, but credit I am telling that real account I won't consider, personal account I won't consider. Say suppose you are purchasing the material on credit. You are purchasing this material from Mr. X to Mr. X, which is purely personal. I am telling that I won't record personal, I will record only nominal. Then how do I balance? I am telling that I need to maintain the accounts under double entry system. How it is possible? It's not possible. To make it possible, we are creating something called as control ledger, right? So cost we know, accounting we know, and we got a concept called as control ledger. Why we are bringing the concept of control ledger into place? To self-balancing ledger. To self-balance, as I am maintaining under double entry system, I need to balance that. To balance that, I need to have a control ledger. So that is the reason we are trying to bring the control ledgers into the place. Now, that's what is the outer view. See, we are in the border outside. Now we need to get into the system. We know the cost, we know the accounting. Now once I know the type of system, which type of system, what is that, then we can understand. So as per this cost accounting system, we are basically having two types of system. One is said to be called as your integral system. Second one is something called as your integral accounting system, as well as non-integral accounting system. Okay, integral accounting system, non-integral accounting system means what? Now let us try to explore something called as our integral accounting system as well as non-integral accounting system. So now we had entered into something called as system. In this system, we have discussed that we are having two things there. One is what? One is something called as integral, and another one is something called as non-integral. What is the meaning of this? Under integral, integrated, combined, joined. Okay, under integral, what is happening? Your financial records and your cost records are maintained at the same time in same books. You are maintaining only one set of books for your cost records. You are maintaining one set of books for your financial records. So here what is happening? Only one set of books, only one set of books are maintained. So what you are doing? You are maintaining only one set of books. One set of books are maintained. Okay, for what? One set of books are maintained. One set of books are maintained. One set of books are maintained. For what? For cost and financial records. So for cost records and the financial records, you are supposed to maintain only one set of books. That's what is something called as for integral. That means you are maintaining both the set of books together. Then what is integral? Now if you look into the definition of integral can also be called as interlocking of accounts. So what I can call non-integral can also be called as interlocking of accounts. Now if we try to see the definition given by Seema London for your interlocking of accounts, let us see what it defines. It defines interlocking as a system. That's what we are discussing. We are discussing that integral is a system, non-integral is a system. Even Seema London defines what? Integral accounting is a system. It is a system. So interlocking of accounting is a system. What you are doing in the system? System in which what you are doing, in which cost records are separate from your financial records. Integral, what I had mentioned, both the records are maintained in one set of books. But whereas interlocking, I am locking cost records separately, I am locking my financial records separately. So here what we are trying to do? System, interlocking of accounts is a system in which the cost accounts, okay, in which the cost accounts are distinct. Cost accounts are distinct from financial accounts. Cost accounts are distinct from financial accounts. So that's what is something called as for interlocking. So here what is happening? Cost accounts are separate from your financial accounts. Along with that, what happening? Two set of books are kept. One separate set of books are kept for your cost records. Another set of books are kept for your financial records. So under this method, two set of books are kept. Two set of books are kept for what? Kept for financial and cost records. Okay, two set of books are kept for financial records as well as your cost records. That's what is the meaning of something called as your non-integral account. So under non-integral accounts, what is happening basically? Under non-integral accounts, you are maintaining two different set of books. One set of books for your cost records, another set of books for your financial records. And under this method, the most important thing is what? Under this method, under your non-integral, what is happening? You are recording only what? You are recording only the nominal expenses. See, under integral, there is no problem. You are maintaining both the things under one set of rules. But here, non-integral, you are locking your financial accounting, you are locking your cost accounting separately. So you are recording only the nominal, and I need to do the accounting based on double accounting. So ultimately what should happen? Under non-integral, I should maintain the control accounts. Under non-integral, I don't record personal. Under non-integral, I don't record the real. Under non-integral, I am recording only the nominal. So ultimately, as I want to do this under double entry, I need to balance. To balance, what I should do, I had to create something called as control ledgers. Whereas under integral, you are maintaining both the set of things under one roof. So as you are maintaining under one roof, ultimately the concept of control account is not required. You are maintaining nominal, you are maintaining personal, you are maintaining real under what? Integral. Whereas under non-integral, I need to maintain some sort of control accounts, otherwise it's not possible. Again, the same example. Purchase I am doing. Credit purchase to Mr. X. Under my non-integral, I don't record the personal. Under my non-integral, I don't record the real. Only one debit is there. To what I will give a credit? I can't give a credit. So to balance, to create a balance, to do the accounting under double entry, I need to create an account. What account? Control ledger. We are having several control ledgers such as cost control ledger, stores control ledger, work in progress control ledger. So we are having a multiple control ledgers under our cost records. So this what is the basic background with which we should enter into the cost account. So it's very simple. Provided you know the flow, you should understand the flow. See, passing of journal entries is nothing. We can pass it like that. For that, you need to understand the flow, in what flow we should go. And we need to know the logic. So if these two things are there, cost ledger system or cost accounting system is nothing. We can easily pass. Now, before getting into further, what we are trying to learn in this subject, in this chapter rather, okay? So basically, in this chapter, it is nothing but your cost accounting system. So in this chapter, so-called as your cost accounting system, what you are trying to learn? You are trying to learn basically these two things. One is something called as your non-integral. Another is something called as your integral. These are the two things which you are trying to learn. So once we learn this, there will be some sort of differences between your financial records and your cost records. So once I know that, what I need to do? I need to do something called as reconciliation of my profits. RECO. I need to do the reconciliation of the profits. What profits? Costing profits, financial profits. So till now, we had been continuously listening the word costing profit and loss account, costing profit and loss account, costing profit and loss account. Wherever any abnormal item is there, throw that to costing profit and loss account. So we are till now listening the word of your costing profit and loss account on a continuous basis. Today, in this chapter, we are trying to know how do we prepare costing profit and loss account, which is the last ultimate step in your costing. Okay, so I need to prepare all the accounts, set of accounts I need to maintain. Then ultimately, finally, I should prepare my costing profit and loss account. So that's what is the thing. So again, whenever you are having a non-integral, again I'm explaining, again I'm going to the basic and I'm again explaining the same thing which you have discussed so far, so that we can proceed further without any sort of doubts in your mind. Now, non-integral, accounting records are separate, financial records are separate, but your expenses you are recording in your cost financial records also. Okay, I am recording your expenses in the financial records also, and the same expenses I am recording in your cost records also. But there is a difference. I will come to that at a short while. Okay, so you are maintaining your expenses in your cost records, and you are also maintaining your expense in the financial records. But when you maintain two set of different books, there will be some sort of differences. What is the primary difference under your non-integral? As you are telling, you are maintaining two set of books, and you are telling under cost records, cost accounting, you are not going to maintain your personal, you are not going to maintain your real, and at the same time you are telling that you are maintaining the accounts under double entry system. So there is an imbalance. I need to create a sort of balance. To create a sort of balance, what we are doing, we are bringing something called as our control ledger into the place. So we are creating something called as a control ledger. That control ledger does what? Does the balancing. So that's what is the role played by the control accounts in your cost accounting system. Then one point just now I had mentioned, we are recording the expenses in the profit and loss account in your financial records. You are also recording the expenses in your cost records. Why? Because in my financial records, I won't be maintaining the detailed, minute details of my cost, such as what? See, in your financial records, you will be maintaining a track of expenses. Say, my cost is 10,000. Say, my cost is 10 lakhs. I had incurred a cost of 10 lakhs to produce this. That's what is my cost. I will record this 10 lakhs as a total in my books, in my financial record. So I will record the expenses of 10 lakhs in the financial record. That's it. What is the breakup of this 10 lakhs? What are the raw materials which I am using? All these details, minute details, will not be given in your financial records. Why? Because financial records will be given to the external users. Okay, financial records are given to the external users. The external people will be having an access to your financial records. If you are giving your minute and sensitive information to the external users, gone. You need not do your business. You can simply shut down and close your business, because it's a trade secret. You are giving your trade secret. You are giving what raw materials you are using. You are giving what is your operating cost. You are giving everything regarding your cost of production to the person. So as you are giving your entire cost of production to the person, to the external person, ultimately what? Your key sensitive information is being circulated. So we won't do that. But if you don't maintain that, how you can control? You should control. You should know what is your cost of production, what is the cost of raw material, what is your bill of material. So all these sort of things you should know. Otherwise you can't control. So for execution of your control purpose, what I need to do? I need to maintain the cost records. So the same cost will be there in my financial records, but there in your financial records, I am not giving the breakup, but in the cost records, I am giving a minute breakup. I am having a minute breakup of my cost records. This is an internal. I don't circulate this to anyone. I will circulate this to only Government of India. If I am subject to cost audit, I need to submit these records to the government. Apart from Government of India, I need not give my cost records to any person, because it's a pure key sensitive information. This will give you the product mix also. What is your combination with which your final product is erased? If this information is known to your competitor, he will also start using the same combination and he will throw you out of your business. So that is the reason you need to maintain two set of books. One for your financial purpose, other for your cost control purpose, because cost is always what? Control. To exercise a control, I need to maintain the records. So that is the purpose for which you are trying to maintain some sort of records. This is the basic. So till now we have not entered into the system. We are looking at the bird eyes view. We are trying to know, we are trying to look what is this chapter is about. So that's what is the basic background behind your cost accounting system. Non-integral, integral, reconciliation of profits. Only three things are to be considered. Okay, only three things we need to understand. From examination point of view, the most important is only the non-integral part. To some extent, some cases you are getting some problems. Rare of the rarest cases you are getting problems on reconciliation of profit. This is not much important. So what we'll do, I will do 2 or 3 problems on your non-integral. I will do one problem on your integral, and I will do 2 or 3 problems from your reconciliation of profit. So the remaining problems I want you to solve. Clear? So that's what is the basic background behind your cost accounting system. Right? Now, without doing any sort of delay, let us get into non-integral and let us try to understand what are the different types of ledgers which I need to prepare. Right? Okay, now before getting into understanding the journal entries, what we'll do, let us try to understand what are the set of records which will be maintaining as a part of your non-integral. Then we'll understand the flow, then journal entries will automatically come, right? Now here, let us try to see the ledgers, basically, the records. If we try to understand about the records, I can divide the records into 2 records, 2 types of records. One is nothing but your principal records. One type of record is what is your principal records. The other type of records I can simply call that as your control records. Control records. Principal records will be there, control records will be there. So these are the 2 set of records which will be having. Now let us see what are those principal records, what are those control records. The principal records, the first foremost important is something called as our stores ledger. We know this ledger very well. We had done a lot of problems on this stores ledger by preparing FIFO, by doing LIFO, by applying average cost method or whatever it is. We know that the stores ledger will be divided into 3 different segments: receipt, issues, balance. So what you are doing in the stores ledger, whatever goods which are received in the stores will be recorded as a part of stores. Whatever goods which are issued on the date of issue will be recorded. So on the corresponding date, I can easily ascertain the balance. That's what is something called as the stores ledger. And what we are doing in the stores ledger, I need not mention separately again. We are maintaining the stores ledger in the terms of your quantity, in terms of the value. So that's what is happening for your stores. And what you are doing for all the material in the stores, you are preparing the stores ledger. All the material in the stores, you are trying to prepare your stores ledger. Whatever materials you have, material A, material B, material C. So whatever materials you are having, for each and every material, you are entering into the stores ledger. You are entering that as a part of your stores ledger. That's what is happening in your stores ledger. Now, the second principal ledger which you need to focus is something called as our wage control book, or not control, wage analysis book, or wage ledger. I will call this as what? Wage ledger. Wage ledger. This, see, if you observe, you are coming in your order of your what? Elements of cost. First element of cost is what? Material. So this is focusing on your material. What is the second element of cost? Labor. This is focusing on your labor. See, when we are discussing the chapter called as labor, there we have discussed few things. What we have discussed? How do I record the cost? We'll be having something called as timekeeping and time booking. We'll be having something called as our job analysis. I need to do the job analysis. For which job you had spent how many hours? The difference of your timekeeping and time booking is something called as our idle time. So all this sort of stuff we had understood in something called as our labor chapter. So there will be having some wage book. There you will be having some time analysis, time sheet, job sheet, etc., etc. So based upon this, I will be preparing something called as the wage ledger. Then comes your other important set of thing, which is nothing but called as the what? Job. Okay. Then comes your job ledger. Then comes your job ledger. Job ledger. What is the expenses you are incurring for the job? What is the duration of the job? Who is doing the job? So all these things. Now this job ledger comprises of, see, till now, stores ledger comprises of material, wage ledger comprises of your labor. Now this job ledger comprises of your 3 elements. 3 elements of cost are comprised as a part of your job ledger. So what? Material, labor, overhead. So these are the 3 elements which are comprised as a part of your job ledger. Then the next element of cost is something called as were finished goods. So this is something called as were finished goods ledger. So this is something called as what? Your finished goods ledger. So what this will be there? This ledger will record the goods received from the production department. So the goods received from the production department and is ready for sale. The production department says the goods is completed and these goods are ready for sale. So that comprises of your finished goods ledger. That comprises your finished goods ledger. So these are the basic 4 ledgers which comprise as a part of your principal. Now coming to your control ledgers, the first and foremost predominant important is your cost ledger. Your cost ledger control account. What we are calling this as? Cost ledger control account. We are calling this as a cost ledger control account. Cost ledger control account is one key control account which you need to maintain. Or this can also be called as our general ledger adjustment account. Adjustment account. Why we are calling that as an adjustment account? As your cost records are not having a track of your real and personal, I need to adjust that to have a double accounting system. Where I will adjust that in something called as our general ledger. So ultimately, all the nominals you are recording, then once I have a trial balance, I need to balance. So how do I balance with my double accounting system without having this? So I will be creating something called as our general ledger adjustment. So all nominal you are recording, whatever transactions balances you are having in your real and personal, that will be incorporated as a balance where in something called as our general ledger adjustment account. So general ledger adjustment account, what is happening? Whatever balance you are having as a part of real, whatever balance you are having as a part of personal, both the things will be consolidated together and brought into the system, and we are calling that as what? General ledger adjustment account. That's it. So that's what is something called as what? General ledger adjustment account. Now this is a mixer. This is a mixer of your real, this is a mixer of your personal. So both the things are grouped together. Now what are the things which I need to record in my general ledger? Okay, so simple, it's very simple. So general ledger, what I will do, I will debit. What I will debit? Okay, so any account, what will be happening? You will be either having a debit, you will be either having a credit. Under this account, what I will credit? All the sort of expenses I will credit. All the sort of expense I will credit. Then what I will debit? If you are crediting your expenses, and what will debit? You will ultimately debit your income. So if you look into this, it is almost looking like a cash book, but I can't call it as a cash book, because cash book you are recording only the cash transactions, but general ledger, as I said, it's a mixer. You are bringing your real account transactions, you are bringing your personal account transactions also. So that is the reason I will be recording everything. Sale made to a debtor, I am making a sale to my debtor. It's not a, in your cash book you won't record this. In your cash book you will record only the cash sale, but in my control ledger or in my general ledger I will record this also. Why? Because sale to a debtor is a personal, I need to also record a personal, whereas cash book you are recording only the real transaction but not the personal transaction. But in your cost ledger, even though the sale made to a debtor, even though the purchase made from a creditor, I should record this. That's what is the basic background behind your cost ledger. And I need to do what? Till now, as I said, we are listening to something called as costing profit and loss account, costing profit and loss account, costing profit and loss account. Now, finally, in this chapter, we'll know how do we prepare that. Once I prepare that, my costing profit and loss account will be having some profit or I will be having some sort of loss. What I should do with that? Generally, what you will do? In your financial records, whatever profit you have, that profit you will take to where? to your capital and you will add to the capital. So what is capital? Personal. Here I don't have any personal. So what I have to do? Bring it, add it. Where? Cost ledger. So balance of profit or loss. Okay, whatever balance of profit or loss should also be transferred. Balance of profit or loss in costing profit and loss account, in costing profit and loss account. So balance of profit or loss in the costing profit and loss account should be added, should be transferred, not added, should be transferred. I should transfer, should be transferred, should be transferred. Where? Should be transferred to something called as your cost ledger control account. Should be transferred to your cost control ledger account. That's it. So that's what is the basic background behind something called as your cost ledger control account. Now, apart from that, we'll also have few other control accounts. See, I will come back to everything. I am not going into the entry part. Once we know the characters, once we know the type of books we need to maintain, once we know the type of records we maintain, once we know the purpose for which the records are maintained, then we'll understand the flow. So once you understand the flow, then ultimately passing of journal entries is not at all a big task at all. It's not at all a big task at all. Now, the next type of account, control account rather, is something called as the stores ledger control account. Stores ledger control account. Stores ledger control account. What is this? This is a control account for your stores ledger. Now, basically, what we'll be doing here, under stores ledger control account, whatever account it is, I need to have a debit, I need to have a credit. What I will debit and what I will credit. See, now we are not getting into, we are just considering what are the debits I need to have, what are the credits we need to have. Then we'll understand the flow from where, from which account to where. Only that flow you should understand. See, students will generally feel this chapter as a complicated because they don't know the flow. So once you know the flow, ultimately it's nothing. It's very simple. Okay. So now, what I need to debit? I need to debit something called as whatever materials you are purchasing, debit. Okay. Whenever you purchase the material, I need to debit the materials purchased. Whenever I do some sort of issue, I need to credit. So go to stores ledger. Whenever you are entering in the receipt column, the total of the receipt column I need to consider it as a debit in my stores ledger. Whatever credit I am having, I need to put that as my whatever issue I am doing. Stock is going, again same fundamental, what comes in, what goes out. Comes in, debit, goes out, credit. Stock is coming, material is coming into the stores. As soon as the stores is coming into the stores, material is coming, debit. Issue, store is going out, credit. That's it. Okay. Then you may be having something called as abnormal loss. Abnormal loss. Abnormal loss. See, every day we are discussing, whenever any sort of abnormal items are there, what I will do? Throw that to your costing profit loss. Same thing. If you are having any abnormal loss, I need to transfer. Where? Costing profit and loss account. That's what is the basic structure behind your stores ledger. Then you are having something called as wage ledger. Now we are having something called as wage control ledger. Wage control ledger. Wages, material. Again I will come back to all these aspects because there are a lot of interesting aspects we need to discuss so that we can do the problem with more enthusiasm and more easy. Okay. Wage control. I will come back to the stores at a later point of time. Now let us focus on something called as the wage control. Wage control. There are three things in your wage control. Two things rather. Two things. What? One thing is something called as what? Direct wages. Other thing, there is something called as for indirect wages. Right? Agreed? Two things are there. direct wages, indirect wages. Generally, what I need to do, I need to debit. What I need to debit? Both the things. Direct wages along with the indirect wages, I will debit. Now my debit is having my total wages. Whether I am paying that as a direct wages, whether I am paying that as an indirect wages, I am not bothered. Total wages I am debiting to my wage control account. Total wages, what I am doing? Wage control account I am debiting. Then what? Whenever I do a debit, I need to also have a credit in that account. What I will credit? Direct wages, indirect wages. Direct wages, I should transfer this to my next control account. What is my next control account? There is something called as our work in progress control account. Any sort of direct wages, transfer that to work in progress control account. Simply transfer that to your work in progress control account. As soon as the wages are paid or accrued, okay, as soon as the wages are paid or accrued, debit your wage control account. With crediting with what? I'm not getting into the entries. I'm not at all getting into the entries. That we'll discuss in later stage. Just I'm trying to introduce the type of ledgers which you need to prepare, the purpose of the ledgers. I'm not at all getting into the entries right now. I'm just giving you the flavor of what are the set of accounts we need to prepare. Then we'll try to understand the flow. Then automatically you will know the entries which you are supposed to incorporate. Clear? Now, work in progress, direct wages should be always due to something called as work in progress. Then coming to the indirect wages, I need to see the purpose. Whether the indirect wages are paid in the factory, whether the indirect wages are paid in the office, whether the indirect wages are paid in the showroom or distribution, whatever it is. Depending upon what I have to do, I need to transfer this to something called as our production overhead control account. I may be transferring this to something called as our administration overhead control account. I may be transferring this to selling overhead or distribution overhead control account. So that's what is your basic background behind something called as our wage control account. Then, then what? Then the next control account which we need to discuss is something called as our work in progress control account. Work in progress control account. Work in progress control account. I'm not getting in depth into this. We'll discuss. Once we know the flow, then we can understand what is this account, what has to be there, everything we can easily understand. So flow we need to understand. Apart from this, what else? Apart from your work in progress control account, we should also prepare something called as our finished goods control account. What is this finished goods control account? I'm not getting into this. We'll discuss it later stage. Now, the other account which I need to prepare is something called as your, before my finished goods control account, I need to prepare few more accounts there. I need to prepare something called as my production overhead control account. Then we'll be coming to something called as our finished goods control account. Then you may be preparing your administration overhead control account. Then you may be preparing something called as a selling overhead control account I'll be having. Okay, selling overhead control account I'll be having. Then apart from your selling overhead control account or selling overhead control account, distribution overhead control account, whatever it is, then you need to prepare something called as your cost of sales account. Then I need to prepare something called as cost of sales account. Then I need to prepare something called as our costing profit and loss account. So then I need to prepare something called as our costing profit and loss account. So these are the accounts which you are supposed to maintain in your non-integral cost records. So these are the different types of ledgers we need to maintain. So the number of ledgers are there, but fundamentally the concept is very simple. If you know the flow, how the flow is flowing, from where to where I need to move. So once you understand this, there is nothing in this chapter. The chapter becomes very easy for you. Now, have you observed one thing? What? If you go to our first ledger, first control ledger. What was your first control ledger? Stores. Then what was your second control ledger? Wages. Then what was your third control ledger? Your third control ledger was your work in progress. See, if you observe, are we not going in this flow? We are taking something called as our direct material. We are taking something called as our direct labor. And we are calling something called as our prime cost. To the prime cost, you are adding something called as our factory overheads. You are adding and reducing your opening and closing work in progress. You are arriving at something called as our works cost. There you are adding your research and development, quality control cost, and few other costs, and administration overheads related to the production. What will be calling this as? We'll be calling this as something your cost of production. To this cost of production, you are adding something called as your administration overheads. Okay. To this, what we are doing? We are doing the adjustment of what? Adjustment of your opening and closing stock of finished goods, and you are naming that as and something calling that as a cost of goods sold. And to this cost of goods sold, what you are adding? You are adding your administration overhead, you are adding your selling overheads, and you are calling that as what? Cost of sales. And to this, what you are doing? You are adding something called as your profit, and you are arriving at something called as the sales. Is it not your cost sheet? Is it not your cost sheet? So if you observe your accounts also, control accounts also, the control account is also following the same pattern, same order. Material, wages, then comes your work in progress. There you are adding what? There you are adding your different set of things. You are trying to take your materials, because once I purchase, see, we had discussed one important term called as conversion cost also. What is the meaning of your conversion cost? Conversion cost is nothing but the cost of labor plus cost of your overheads incurred in conversion of your raw material to finished goods. So I need to add that. Where I will add that? In my work in progress control account. Apart from my material, apart from my labor and overheads, the total put together comes as a part of my work in progress control account. So if you observe, all the accounts are going in a pattern of your cost sheet. So that's what is the order. That's what is the thing which we need to understand. Now, if you try to understand that you are maintaining your accounts in an order of your cost sheet, so then comes what? Production overheads. Okay. Then comes what? Finished goods. Then comes my administration. Then comes, that means what? To your finished goods, cost of goods sold. You are getting your cost of goods sold here. To the cost of goods sold, you are adding your administration overhead. You are adding your selling overhead. And what you will be getting? You will be getting something called as cost of sales. There, what you are doing? Adding your profit, and you are arriving at your sales. But now, what I will do? I will try to find out the profit. Where I will try to find out the profit? In something called as your costing profit and loss account. In your costing profit and loss account, we are trying to arrive at your profit. That's what is your ending point of your non-integral accounts. So that's what is the basic background. Now we are ready and we are set to understand the flow. So once we understand the flow, journal entries will automatically come. So we'll understand the flow, then we'll try to discuss the journal entries. Then I will do 2 problems on your non-integral. Then we'll move on to something called as your integral. Okay, if you know the non-integral very well, integral becomes very easy for you. There is nothing. It's very simple. It's same as your non-integral, but only difference is what? Here you don't have personal, you don't have real. There you will be having personal, there you will be having real. So ultimately the aspect of control ledgers or general ledgers will not be there in your integral, but that will be there in your non-integral. That's it. So we are ready to understand the flow from where to where. What should move from where to where? That's it. If you know the flow, the cost journals, passing an entries in your cost accounting is new for you. But passing a journal entry in your financial account is not a new term, not a new concept. You are learning since your childhood. So that's not a different aspect at all. So only thing you need to understand is the flow. What is what? That is the reason I had mentioned which account, what is to be debited and what is to be credited. So now if you know the flow, from where I should start, from where I have to move, where I have to end. That's it. If that concept is there, this chapter is very, 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 very easy chapter for you. Clear? Now let us try to get into the flow which we need to adapt when we are doing your what? Non-integral accounts. See, basically three elements of cost. We are studying this from ages. So three elements of cost. What are three elements of your cost? Three elements of your cost is nothing but something called as the material, and there is something called as well labor, and there is something called as well expenses. Now we fundamentally know that what we are having direct material, we are having indirect material. I will come one by one. So let us discuss on one by one. So regarding your direct material, as soon as the material is purchased, what we have discussed, where I need to record, stores ledger I need to record. Okay, so recording will happen in the stores ledger, that's for sure. Now the thing is, what is the flow generally? So this direct material, whenever I issue, where I have to record, see here already we have discussed one thing, that when we were discussing something called as the stores ledger, I had mentioned one point. Debit the purchases. Whenever you had purchased, what I had mentioned, I had said you to debit. That's what we have seen here. Debit the purchases. Whenever you are purchasing, debit, not debit the purchases. Whenever you do the purchase, your transaction is what? Purchase, debit. So whenever you purchase, you are going to debit. Whenever you issue, you are going to credit. So ultimately here my objective is what? So here the goods at the time of purchase you are debiting. So that's for sure, you are doing that. But what else my intention is? I am telling you to do what? Here I am telling, whenever you are doing an issue, to whom you have to issue, where you need to issue. But that is the reason you should understand whether the material you are issuing is direct material or indirect material. So the material which you are issuing is direct, or the material you are issuing is indirect. That's what is one key thing we need to understand. Here, if you are issuing direct material, I need to send it somewhere. If I am issuing something called as indirect material, I need to send it somewhere. So now let us see what we are supposed to do with your direct material as well as our indirect material. Direct material should be issued to something called as our work in progress control account. That means from my stores, direct material will move to where? Work in progress control account. So whenever your direct material is issued, whenever your direct material is issued, where I will issue to my production. So this material will go to the production, process. Already we know the different sort of documents, material requisition note, material issue note, what lot of notes are there, all these things we have discussed. Now this material will be going to the department who has requested this material. So I will charge this to my production. I will charge this to something called as work in progress control. What? Direct material. Then what about your indirect material? Indirect material will generally be sitting in something called as our production overhead control account. So where this will sit? This will sit in something called as our production overhead control account. Whenever any sort of indirect material is issued, that will sit in your production overhead control account. That's it. Then labor, wages, wage control account we had already discussed. Total debit, direct material, direct wages or indirect wages, whatever it is, I will debit. But I need to segregate. So once I debit this, I need to segregate my wages into different components. If my wages are direct or my wages are indirect wages. Direct wages, what I have to do? Same thing again, work in progress control account. So what we are going to do? Work in progress control account I will transfer. I will transfer this to work in progress control account if the wages are direct. If the wages are direct, as we have seen earlier, these wages should be either considered as your production overheads. This should be either considered as your administration overheads. This should be either considered as what? Either considered as your selling and distribution. That's it. So from your wage control, see the labor, entire thing has been recorded in your wage control account. Entire materials is recorded in something called as a stores ledger control account. So what we have done, from stores ledger control account, I should send the goods to work in progress. From stores ledger control, I should send the goods to my production overhead. I will send that to work in progress if that is a direct material. I will send to my production overhead if that is a indirect material. So that's what is your background behind your stores ledger control account. So the flow is what? From stores ledger, as soon as the material is purchased, I will be debiting my stores ledger. I will be debiting in my stores ledger control account. From my stores ledger control account, what I have to do? I have to transfer that to something called as my direct material will be transferred to work in progress. Indirect material will be transferred to your production overhead. And if any loss is there, you may be having some abnormal loss. So even I need to record the losses. So whatever abnormal loss you are having, that abnormal loss will be transferred to where your costing profit and loss account. The balance will be what your closing stock of raw materials. Whatever raw materials which are lying in the stores, that will be considered as a part of your balancing figure in your stores ledger control account. Now, if I speak about something called as expenses. Now, let us speak something called as for expenses. When I speak something called as expenses, we need to discuss a lot of things there, because we are having a different control account for your expenses. One is what? I may be having something called as my production overhead control account. I may be incurring some sort of expenses in the terms of your administration overhead control account. Okay, and again here all the expenses what you are discussing is only nominal, there is no real. Okay, there is no real accounts which you are having, only the expenses is going to be purely the capital expenses. Okay, and other thing is what? So production overhead control account is one thing I need to have, administration overhead account is something I should have, selling overhead and also distribution overhead. So these are the different types of accounts which I need to maintain. Now the most important part is this. You need to understand this very clearly. So once you understand this, again I am going one by one. So we had discussed the control accounts. Now I am trying to explain the flow. Stores, direct material will sit in your work in progress, indirect material will sit in your production overheads. Wage control, direct wages will go to the work in progress, indirect wages will go accordingly. Either that will go to the production, either that will go to the admin, or that will go to selling or distribution. That's what is something called as our wages. Then we had entered into your third element of costing, which is nothing but your production overhead, administration overhead, selling overhead, or distribution overhead. So these three things we need to discuss. Now, basically, in costing, in your financial accounting, there is no concept called as absorption. Whenever, see, financial account is purely post-mortem. The person is dead and you are trying to analyze why the person is dead. The transaction has incurred long back. On 31st March, you are trying to know what is the profit. Everything is done. It's purely post-mortem. But costing is not like that. Costing is meant for control. Based upon the past, I am trying to predetermine my cost. I am trying to absorb my cost. I am trying to calculate my cost. I am trying to compare my cost. So costing is purely meant for control. So here you will be always having a concept called as for absorption. Absorption of your production overhead, absorption of your administration overhead, absorption of your selling overhead. So this absorption concept will not be there for your material, it will not be there for your wages, but this absorption concept will be there for your expenses, which is nothing but your overheads. Now, when we focus on your expenses, two things I should know. Two things. One is something called as for actual, and there is something called as absorb. Okay, there is something called as absorb, right? So for everything, either you are considering something called as a production overhead control account, or you are focusing on something called as for administration overhead control account, or you are focusing on something called as for selling overhead and distribution control account, whatever it is. So there are two things we should understand. One is said to be actual, other is said to be absorbed. Two things will be there. Now, actual. Actual, what I have to do? Actual has to be debited. So actual, I need to debit. Actual, I will be debiting. My production overhead control account will be debited. With what? I'm not getting into that. I'm just trying to explain you the flow. From where? Three elements of cost we have taken. One element of material we have seen. It will, direct material will go and sit in your work in progress. Indirect material will come to the production overhead. Then we have seen the second element of cost, which is nothing but your wages. Direct wages will go and sit in your work in progress. Indirect wages will come and sit in what? Indirect wages will come and sit in something called as your production overhead or administration overhead or selling overheads. Okay, that's a complete different issue. Then we are trying to discuss something called as work expenses. Three different will be having a different type of expenses, such as your production based on function. Purely we are focusing on what? Your overheads. Production overhead, selling, administration overhead, selling and distribution overhead. So three overheads are there. And whenever we are coming into the concept of overheads, I will be having my actual overhead, I will be having my absorbed overheads. Fine. Now, actual overheads, I need to debit in my production overhead control account if that is a production overhead. I have to debit in my administration overhead control account if that is an administration. Or I need to debit in something called as my selling and distribution overhead if that is a selling and distribution overhead. Then ultimately absorbed, I need to credit. Absorbed, I need to credit. Absorbed, I need to credit. Whether it is a production overhead control account, whether it is a administration overhead control account, whether it is a selling and distribution overhead control account, what I should do? I had to credit my absorbed, I have to debit my actual. What is this difference? Have we discussed this anywhere? Yes. This is nothing but your cost variance. Overhead cost variance. What is your overhead cost variance? Come on. It's nothing but the difference between your actual and your absorbed. The difference between actual and your absorbed is something called as your cost variance. Only that. Have we not discussed this anywhere? We have discussed this under overheads as well. This is something called as your under or over absorption. This difference is something called as your under or over absorption. What I have to do? Even this we have discussed in your overheads. See, it's a integral, non-integral chapter is a revision of your costing. Whatever topics we have discussed so far, all these topics we are putting it again and we are trying to pass some sort of entries. That's what is something called as your integral and non-integral. That's it. So we are not doing anything extra as a part of this, right?